All right. It is always a pleasure to have my next guest on the show, the president of the XFC, Myron Molotky. And you're getting 2 for 1 this Friday, 2 shows in one. Obviously, XFC 44 is the main card. And then you have the prelims, Young Guns 2, May 28th, going down at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. And I am really, really excited for this event. You got a lot of great fights, Myron. How you doing?
Hey, doing great, Ryan. Thanks for having me on. And I'll tell you, you said the word prelims, and I cringe because there's not a prelim fight on this card. With the Young Guns, that's an event of itself. We had such great success, as you know, at Young Guns 1. And, our broadcast partners, Fox Sports, just came at us and said, hey, you know what? This needs to be, Young Guns needs to be an event. It was crazy. They loved it. And then, of course, we have 44, which you take a look at that card, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I guess what I was meaning to say is the precursor to XFC 44. These will be the fights leading up to it. And really, top to bottom, there's some fantastic fights on both the XFC card and the Young Guns. I do want to start with the Young Guns. And I was looking at a lot of the matchups. And, a lot of these fighters are guys that, fought at Young Guns 1. And then obviously, you guys have had tryouts and you brought a lot of people in here. So we're going to see a lot of fighters for the first time. But one name really stuck out to me, and it was Boston Salmon, a former fighter in the UFC. And here he is now in your promotion fighting for the Young Guns. Tell me how this all came about.
First of all, I'm going to break the bad news to you. Boston will not be fighting this event. We had an injury to his opponent, and we worked, the injury came really late through the weekend, this past weekend, and we had some options we were looking at. Guys have to be fight ready and on weight, or at least close to it. And we just couldn't put it together to where it made sense for Boston's team and for, the XFC as a whole. So the good news is we're bringing Boston back in July in Augusta for XFC 45, okay? And I'll tell you what, we're not rewarding him. We're taking the week off. He's going to go in the cage with Guilherme Faria.
Okay. All right. And obviously he just fought Andre Sukumtov, if I'm not mistaken.
He did. Yeah, it was a great fight. Of course, Guilherme, one of our great champions out of Brazil, striker, very technical, well-rounded, and he's always explosive. Kind of what you saw when he fought Andre Sukumtov. We're expecting the same thing, and we're certainly looking forward to welcoming Boston Salmon to the Hexagon.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What went behind the decision to have him initially on the Young Guns card versus the XFC event?
Well, it was really the fit. We already had that card done for 44, okay? And based on our broadcast time, we've got 3 hours. And what we're doing is we're running hard. That's going to be the most action-packed 3 hours. We're going to have 7 bouts on those 3 hours. So we're going to put Boston on top of the Young Guns just as an interesting bout to have on there. And, unfortunately, again, it didn't work, but you're going to see him back on, the regular card when we get to Augusta.
Very exciting. Now, there's some names here, and again, a lot of these are up and coming fighters, some making their promotional debut for you. So give me a couple of fights that, might stand out, that might steal the show, because you have some good matchups here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we take a look at it, we're kicking off with a couple of Annie girls, right? We've got Addie Bellinger and we've got Autumn Newcomb. And Autumn went through our tryout in Atlanta back in November, and she was impressive. And we were just, man, we were so excited to get her going. She was 17, so we couldn't even make a move at that point. But fortunately, she's in Junior Sancio's camp there, and Junior's cornering her for this event. So we're finally able to get her an opportunity, and I love that Addie's coming in. She's coming in from Northern Michigan. So we think that's going to be a fun female bout right there. When you take a look at the rest of the card, Ryan, for me to just start picking them, you got Davey Young is back. You saw what he did at Young Guns in Oklahoma City. Cody Lynn, I mean, this kid, that quick submission that he had. Ali Omar, he's a local fan favorite. Kid's exciting. I'll tell you, he's so exciting. Just walking into the fighter room today to pick up all the gear and everything we've got going, the kid just lit up the room. So we're so excited to have him there. Tyson Miller's fighting Louis Navarro, who of course won in Atlanta for us. Had a fight against Horton in Atlanta and proved himself there. But he's got a tough fight with Tyson coming at him. So that card, Igor Gorbachev, pronounced Yegor Gorbachev. Make sure we got that right. He's Russian. He came to the trials in Oklahoma City, and he was electric. No one could take their eyes off him. All the fighters were watching him. They're like, wow, look at this guy, the way he moves. He's so quick, so fast, and it's fun to watch.
Has he got a little bit of Khabib in him there with the, being from the same area?
He has absolutely zero Khabib in him. So I think we're going to be standing up this entire fight. He's I think his mentality, he's different. He's Khabib's very serious, and rightfully so, one of the greatest fighters ever on the planet, right? But I think with Igor, he's a lot of fun. He's got a big personality, and I don't think he's going to want to go to the ground. I don't think he's going to go to the ground at all. I think if he's going to the ground, he's going down swinging. So.
Well, a lot of great matchups. And again, Young Guns 2 will be televised live on Fox Sports 2, the Fox Sports app, and Fox Now app. So you got a few different platforms there to make sure that you can check this event out. As far as the matchups have gone for you and leading into this second event for Young Guns, are you finding it a lot easier to really kind of pick and choose from different parts of the country to put these cards together?
It's great. Yeah, we have numbers, but of course you have to have the matchups right. I know, when we put these cards together, it's all about the matchup to create the most exciting fight. It's not, hey, this guy's, 3-0, this guy's 4-1. Let's see how they do against each other. If it's not a good fit for what we want to see in the hexagon, it's not a match that we're going to make. I think the biggest hurdle that we had, and we dodged so many bullets with, XFC 43 in Atlanta, and of course, Young Guns. We had so many COVID cases coming in, and so many changes to the card in the past 2 weeks. It's been absolutely nuts. But thankfully for our reach, we've had these tryouts, we have options, we've got a great working network of managers and scouts. So it really came together well. We were able to fill everything except for the Boston Salmon fight.
Right. Obviously, got to ask you about the whole COVID situation. The world is starting to open up a lot more now, so you can get out and actually do things. But for fighting, I'm curious. Some people don't want to have the vaccine, others do. How does that work out with stepping inside your hexagon and fighting? Like, are there different variables that come into play if a fighter is vaccinated versus not?
Not from my standpoint. I don't. I'm going to turn it into a political conversation or a hardcore belief situation. I think we have to look at what the reality is for fighters being able to travel. Okay, is this vaccine going to be part of being able to travel? And then, of course, different considerations are going to be they're going to have to be made by the fighters, their management team, and not just for XFC, but for pretty much everyone. So when we take a look at it, we're not diving into that vaccine situation. I'll tell you, we started out in Atlanta and it was buttoned down tight with COVID. I went to Oklahoma City, it was a little bit looser, still cautious and everything. We're in Iowa and it's as though it never happened. Let's go. Why are you wearing a mask? So, and it feels good.
Yeah, I think I need to make a trip to Iowa sometime soon. That sounds right up my alley. Now, the Wells Fargo Arena, that's a pretty big venue. How's everything been leading up to this event, making sure everything's in place?
It's great. They've been great to work with. It's just a top of the class facility. We got here the other day and did our walkthrough. Much different than what we saw. Of course, we have people scout the arenas before we get out there, and I can tell you that overwhelmingly surprised at how much nicer it is than what we were expecting. And we were expecting nice going into it, but they're host to they've got AHL hockey, they've got indoor football league, they've got basketball there. So they have to be a top-notch organization. The people have been great, and the facility is just beautiful, and it's attached to our hotel by a skywalk. So we're not going to lose any fighters on the way to the events.
That is perfect. You know, Myron, it seems like every event that you put on, there's just more and more buzz being generated. You know, XFC is a promotion that, you know, I hear fighters, you know, even up here in Maine where I'm at, that are talking about wanting to get on your card. How much attention, how much more attention are you getting? I mean, you must be getting a lot of emails and phone calls, and you know, your you know, level as far as, you know, popularity must be starting to rise a lot throughout the country.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a great team. So it all starts with the team. It starts with our culture and what we're trying to do, what XFC is. So I think that that's always going to be an attraction for anyone. It's like any workplace. You want to go to the place that's going to treat you great, treat you with respect, pay you right, And I think we check all those boxes, obviously. And, the other part is when you really look at it, fighters want to be on a platform that really makes sense for them. And you're not going to get anything better anywhere than Fox Deportes, FS2, replay on FS1, and of course our broadcast partners all throughout Latin America and all throughout Europe and Africa and even in Asia. So we've cracked into Asia as well. So I think that's made the matchmaker's life a little bit easier because the calls come nonstop, and putting these things together. We certainly want to be fair with the fighters. Again, the right matchups, pay them right. But it's gone very, very well, and we're really excited about this momentum, this wave that we're riding and continuing to ride.
Yeah, as you should be. How long is your deal with Fox Sports?
It's a multi-year deal, and we put it together so quick before YoungGuns, right? It's something that we were in conversation for quite some time, and then bam, it came together. So we've already put the extension in. We've already moving parts. And it's great because they love what they see so much. They want an hour-long show. They want more content. They want all the previous library that we have. Oh, we're in Cancun. Hey, we want to do a show on, the tryouts in Cancun. How many more tryouts can we do this year so that we can, get XFC pumped up and continue to build the fan base? So they're a great partner. It's so much better than I ever expected, and very excited about it.
You know, I saw you in a live stream video on the XFC Facebook page. I can't remember what it was for. It may have been one of the tryouts that you guys were holding a couple months back. And I noticed to myself, I'm like, you know what? Myra's pretty fit. Are you training? Is this something that, you're consistently doing? I mean, obviously you have a love for mixed martial arts. Is that like a part of your exercise regimen to stay in shape?
First of all, being a former athlete, I played hockey my entire life. And, so yeah, I try to stay in shape, but I don't run. I don't do treadmill. But what I do love is I hit the bag. Okay. And, that's part of my regimen. A little bit of lifting, but primarily hitting the bag. I used to box Golden Gloves way back long time ago. But yeah, it's for me, it's important. You start getting old like me. It's important that you stay in shape at some type, right? So.
Yeah, well, you're looking good, so you're doing something right. That's my favorite discipline of MMA is boxing as well. So I got a big heavy bag out in my garage, and I do the same thing there. Now let's talk about XFC 44. This is basically, it's going to feature a lot of the semifinals of the 155 and 170 pound tournaments. Before we dive into that, I do understand that the UFC signed Chris Barnett. And so you let him out of his contract. He was originally supposed to fight Brett Martin. Can you kind of dive in and elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's pretty cool because, the guys that are pros like you're great at what you do. And, Christopher Rothstein is great at what he does because they really understand the story. And then you read, someone says, oh, the UFC came calling. So of course, XFC let him go. The bottom line is, we're not a feeder system. And what's really cool is we've got a mutual respect. I've talked to Sean Shelby or Nick Maynard, and we had conversations about this. And he switched managers. He didn't tell him he was signed with XFC. They presented the UFC. And then all of a sudden, shit hits the fan, right? Oh, wait, he's with XFC. What are you going to do? And first of all, we always want to do what's right for a fighter, okay? But we also want a fighter to do what's right for an organization. And the way people have to look at it, it's the other side of the card that's affected as well, okay? And when you have another fighter affected, you have to take that into account. So, I talked to Nick Maynard. He was great. Talked to the management team for Chris Barnett. and we worked through it. And, our biggest concern was making sure Brett Martin, who's had so many fights fall through, and it's a long time since he's been in the cage, the kid deserved to fight. Okay. So this was more about, in my mind, this decision was about Brett Martin making sure that we still had a fight. And, we were able to put this together. Marino Eatman, he's stepping up. Thankfully, same management team. So it was just a flawless, easy decision to make. And of course, we wish, Chris well with his career. So.
Well, thank you for elaborating about that. And, that's just another reason why I feel like, yourself and the XFC is a promotion on the rise. You guys really do right by the fighters, and you take it, everything into consideration. So again, thank you for elaborating on that. Let's dive right into this XFC 44 card. It's starting off with Austin Bashi, who I know you're very, very excited about. He's taking on Emmanuel Pugh. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this is a progression, right? As we always talked with, he's on this main card, as we call it, XFC 44 versus the YoungGuns card that is prior to. But, Austin's earned this. He's put on a show for XFC. He's developed quite a following. And this is a progression of development of talent. So Emmanuel Pugh is going to be such a tough test for him. And he's had some tough fights already. But I think that this one is the one that's really going to show us what we have with Austin.
And he's what, 19?
He's 19 years old.
My God, I was an absolute knucklehead when I was 19 years old. And this kid seems to be like tunnel vision as to climbing the ranks and being like a world champion. It's unbelievable.
He's like a wily veteran. I mean, he shows up. He's not overexcited about anything. He's so polite. He's so nice. My wife thinks he's the cutest kid in the world, right? And he's just a great kid. He's very respectful to his opponents. And, Emmanuel Pugh, like I said, this kid's no joke. We're so happy to bring him inside the hexagon too. And I think that this just could progress as fight of the night.
That's a great way to kick off this event here. Now, again, 155 and 170 pound tournaments here, the semifinals. Let's start with the 155ers here. You got Tom O'Connor, DeMonte Robinson, and then you got Kurt Hollabaugh, Scott Hudson. For anyone that hasn't seen those first two guys, like break down that initial fight and then follow that up with Hollabaugh and Hudson, which I can't wait for, by the way.
Okay, well, again, injury problems. This should have been, as if it went as planned, it was going to be Tom O'Connor versus Kenny Cross. And of course, Kenny had that devastating Achilles injury. So he's healing up. We're flying him out. We're going to have Kenny running around here making a bunch of noise, I'm sure. But, DeMonte Robertson was just a perfect fit for that. They're supposed to meet in the Contender Series. I think everyone knows that, DeMonte and Kenny at one point, right? So I think that that's going to be a great matchup. A lot of hype on Tom O'Connor. He did a great job at 43. Canada loves this kid. He's got so many fans following him, and rightfully so. He's a great kid, just a riot to be around. Typical Canadian that we run into, right? But DeMonte, he's fired up to be a part of the XFC, and we're excited to have him too. And we're expecting big things in this fight.
All right. And then Kurt Hollabaugh, a guy that I've interviewed a bunch, and this guy really seems to be hitting his stride right now. Obviously, former UFC fighter. Now this matchup with handsome Scott Hudson. Stylistically, like what kind of a fight do you think we're going to see?
Well, I think that we can put it in the wrapper that Hollabaugh's still fighting and Hudson's not. You didn't get the latest card, I take it. Scott Hudson, he got COVID. And he got hit pretty hard. And, by getting the COVID, not able to train, things like that. So what we're doing with Scott's a great fighter. And I think this would have been a just incredible fight for both Kurt and for Scott. So we're going to have Scott fighting in July in Augusta as well. We're going to get him on the card and get him a great fight. Or depending on how he's healing up, if he gets his training and everything's looking good, we may push that back to September in Cancun. So your next question is, who did we find? Who do we have here? And you're going to love this. Jose Luis Verdugo. If you're familiar with Verdugo, this is an absolute, probably, you want to talk about experience on a card. You put these two in the cage, there's a lot of experience going on. So we're excited to have Verdugo with us.
Yeah, no doubt. When did all of this happen with Scott? It must have been very, very recently.
It was a couple of weeks ago where we first heard. We talked our way through it. We got everything checked out, and a decision was made probably a week and a half ago. So, Ryan, I'm sorry that we didn't reach out and get you that information. I'm going to call Ed when we're done. So,
Yeah, geez, that is news to me. Well, I'm glad you guys found a legitimate replacement for Kurt Hollabaugh and keeping him on the card here. Let's move to the welterweights here. LaRue Burley, Carson Hardman. I interviewed Carson before this fight, and I was blown away with him. He's very well spoken. He's very polite. He looks like a choir boy, if I'm going to be honest. And he's taken on LaRue Burley, who's another dangerous fighter. How does this matchup look to you? Because I know there's a lot of momentum behind Carson, and I saw something where it's like the best guy in one state, the best welterweight in one state versus the best welterweight in another, taking on one another.
great story, and you nailed it with Hardman. He's cornered by his wife, by the way, and choir boy. Yeah, but that kid's made of steel. I mean, he's a tough, tough kid, but you probably want me to walk off camera when I start talking about this. So, changing that fight too, Ryan. And that just happened. That one's not on you for not knowing. We got a call on Saturday. Carson broke his nose and went in for surgery on, I think he went in Monday for surgery on his nose. So we're just blowing this out. Hey, we're changing it all up. This is a whole new event for you.
Has this been announced yet? Like, has this fight being scrapped? Like, has it been announced to the public?
We just got it going because we're fortunate enough. If you remember Bradley Desser, he was supposed to be on 43, made it through the weigh-ins, got sick, so we went to his alternate to fight in 43. So Bradley is on a plane right now coming in to take over for Hardman. So we had Bradley planned for this tournament to kick off the tournament at 43. So he was devastated, got sick, couldn't fight. So great opportunity for Bradley, and again, for Hardman, we'll find a space inside the cage for him again. So
good enough. My God, a lot of moving parts going on here for this event. Please tell me Bobby Nash and Ryan Dixon is still a go.
Well, I'm glad you asked about that. That one's a go. Both are here. Hey, you know what, Ryan? It's at the point until you see them get off the shuttle from the airport, you don't know what you got, right? So yeah, Bobby's here. Bobby looks great. Bobby's excited. He came in with that Michigan team, and they're ready to go. And I'll tell you what, Ryan Dixon, I'll tell you, we talk about Canada and the following and the fan support. Everyone loves Ryan Dixon in Canada too, and he's here. He's confident, and I'll tell you what, that's why they're second on the card, right? They're going to be really the co-main, if we're going to call it co-main. They're the semifinal of the welterweights, but they're the co-main event, and they're there for a reason, because you got two of the top fighters just going at it right there. So
I talked to Bobby 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and he really seems dialed in, focused, and really like he's, I mean, in this killer mode where he's going in and he's looking to knock his opponent out within the first round. I was very, very impressed talking to him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you take a look at his last fight, his confidence has been soaring. I mean, he knocked out a tough kid. I mean, Spencer Jebb, that kid's no joke inside the cage. Both fighters look great. Both fighters are supremely confident. So, they have to do it inside the cage now. And we have no idea what this outcome is going to be. We have no idea what kind of finish it's going to be. It's just, we're going to be just like the rest of the fans. We're going to just dial it in, tune it in, watch these two go at it. And, we're going to have a hell of a fight right there.
Yeah, that's going to be fireworks. Can't wait. And all of these great fights, and we haven't even talked about the main event yet. Please tell me this is still on Andre Sukumtat, Jose Alberto Quinones. That's still a go, right?
That's still a go. No surprises there. Both fighters so excited to be here. It's great. Quinones walked in, and of course we take over the hotel, right? We're in just a beautiful, outstanding facility. The hotel here is awesome, and we decorate. We bring in the life-size banners of the fighters. Those doors slide open, and there's him on the left, and there's Andre on the right, and just the look on his face, it was absolutely incredible. So yeah, this one, again, it goes back to the XFC philosophy on how we're matching fights. There's going to be fireworks, and both guys are two of the most exciting fighters on the planet. From round to round to round, punch to punch, kick to kick. We're excited about this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, any MMA fan that's out there know both of these guys from their time in the UFC. I've interviewed Sukumtoth a number of times, and he's such a great guy. He has such a huge following. What is it like to have someone that's not just a great fighter, but a phenomenal human being headlining your cards?
You know, he's become such a face of the XFC. You know, when you take a look at Andre, it's Andre, his wife Jamie, the kids. They traveled just as this great family. I'll give you a great example about Andre and the following that he has. The most important thing they had going was, how are people in Laos going to be able to watch this fight? But you know what's important here in Iowa, when we announced the fight, the card, Andre's on the card, before tickets went on sale, all of the VIP tables were sold out by Andre's following. All of them. They took them all before we even put the tickets on sale. Done.
Wow.
So that's how excited they are. But you're absolutely right. And you said you've had the chance to talk to Andre several times. He's a great kid. I couldn't be more happy than to have him, you know, fight for the XFC. He's just perfect for the XFC. He's a great ambassador. He's a great kid. But, you know, as far as the fans are really concerned, he is just electric inside the cage.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all MMA fans. We want to see, you know, fighters go in there and do their thing. But really, what matters the most to me, anyways, and I'm sure it's the same to you and to everyone else, is you want to be around working next to good human beings. And Andre is top notch. I haven't had the pleasure to speak with Quinones before, but I can tell you Andre is just phenomenal. So I always just love watching him compete. So I will 100% be watching that main event here. Now, XFC 45, you mentioned it was in Augusta. What do you have a date lined up yet for that?
It's going to be July 9th, and still working on the card. I mentioned a couple that are going to be showing up on the card, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool card. I think Jessica Aguilar, find her a great matchup. Female bouts have been difficult, but yeah, I think July 9th, it's just going to be more of the same, rinse and repeat from 44 to 45.
How many more events throughout 2021 do you anticipate holding?
Well, of course, we've got this one coming up Friday. We've got July 9th. We're going to do September, I think it's the 18th in Cancun. We're going to do October, November, and we're going to make a decision on December.
Wow. You're going to be,
of course, we're going to mix it in with tryouts in between. You know, we'll have tryouts. We typically will travel and do a tryout, but we're also looking at tryouts because we're just missing certain pockets. We have so many fighters that want to go to the tryout, but it has to be realistic too. I don't need to have a kid come all the way from Maine, you know, to go to Oklahoma City. It's happened. We have fighters coming in from Hawaii, but you know, we want to make sure we create those opportunities. And of course, doing the one in Mexico, it just opened up. You know, next one in Mexico is going to be Mexico City or Sinaloa. And as soon as we can start making it to other countries, I think Argentina is probably going to be next because Brazil's still struggling, but we're working on it.
Wow, exciting times for the XFC promotion here moving forward. Myron, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Again, XFC 44, Young Guns 2, it all goes down May the 28th. Make sure you watch it on Fox Sports 2, the Fox Sports app, Fox Now app as well. Myron, I want to give you the floor to plug anything or thank anyone you want before I do let you go, sir.
First, I'm going to plug Ryan Jarrell, because Ryan, this information's just not moving fast enough. And I'll tell you, it's been a lot of moving parts. It's been absolutely chaotic because it's not just a matter of replacing these fighters. It's a matter of replacing them with the right fighter. And to be honest with you, you know, our marketing, our social media teams, they're just hanging on the edge of their chair waiting to see what we're going to do. So a shout out to you. Thank you for working our way through this and actually being shocked that we did have a main event still that's put together the way you expected. But, you know, hey, to all the XFC fighters that have been on the 43 card and on the Young Guns card, we're a fighter first first organization, so big shout out to all of our fighters for everything that you do, because like you said, we've been fortunate. Every fighter that we've had run with XFC in my past decade, running this company, it's been absolutely incredible, the type people, the type kids that we get, credit to their communities. It's been awesome. So we're very fortunate as an organization that the choices are being made to bring in the right fighters.
Absolutely. Well, again, Myron, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I look forward to doing this again soon. Best of luck here on this event on Friday.
Hey, appreciate that. Always good to see you, Ryan. Thanks so much.